Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another video. A quick one today, but I wanted to share a theory that I have about the upcoming story to be told in the Book of Boba Fett. A story that could expand perhaps beyond this first season into a season 2 or even beyond. So there's been one main plot element that's been tying together the show so far, and that is the Sarlacc. Although the actual Sarlacc pit sequence is only in the show for a few moments, it's the Sarlacc which caused Boba Fett's injuries and makes him require time in the bacta tank, leading to flashbacks. However, it's my theory that this is just the tip of the iceberg and that Boba Fett's injuries are actually much more serious than we currently recognize, and that this is something we will be seeing throughout the show. So let's talk about it. One thing that I found very interesting is that Boba Fett's injuries seem to be degenerative, i.e. the longer he's out of the Sarlacc pit, it does seem like the worse they're getting. In The Mandalorian Season 2, he holds his own fairly well. He seems capable of fighting even among the Tusken Raiders. However, by the time he's on his own trying to manage his new criminal empire, we see that he is frequently fatigued and just not the same fighter that he used to be. The Sarlacc is a strange creature, full of acid and other compounds, and I believe, perhaps unbeknownst to Fett at the time of his escape, he suffered some serious damage internally. And there's actually a lot of precedent to this. Let's take a look at Boba Fett in Star Wars Legends. So of course, in Legends, as in canon, Boba Fett survived his fall into the Sarlacc pit and was actually active to various degrees throughout the entirety of the post-Endor Legends period. We don't see Boba Fett's death in Legends. He survives to be over 70 years old, and he of course fluctuates between sometimes being an antagonist, but more frequently being an anti-hero or even a straight-up hero. With all this time out of the Sarlacc pit, we know that Boba Fett in Legends sustained serious injuries. Now, to be fair, his injuries are a bit more externally obvious. For one, he loses his leg. When Boba climbed out of the pit, his leg didn't come with him, so he was forced to replace it with a prosthetic and eventually a cloned limb. However, that was just the tip of the iceberg of major health issues that Fett would suffer, and to be frank, his existence became very painful and very expensive after suffering by the Sarlacc. This is detailed most prominently in The Last One Standing, The Tale of Boba Fett from the Tales of the Bounty Hunter. There we get the following quote: "Boba Fett was not the man he had once been. His right leg from the knee down was artificial. Only constant medical treatment kept him from developing a cancer. The days he'd spent in the belly of the Sarlacc had altered his metabolism permanently, had damaged him genetically to such a degree that he could not have children had he wanted them. His cellular structures did not always regenerate the way they were meant to say nothing of the memories he had carried away from the Sarlacc and the Sarlacc's genetic soup, memories that were not always his own." Additionally, Fett suffered major scarring, especially on his face. However, by the time of Legacy of the Force Bloodlines, when Fett was near his 70s, those scars had nearly completely healed. However, by that age, he was still dealing with what a doctor called tissue degeneration, reoccurring tumors, and failing liver function. Some of this may have been because he was a clone rather than an ordinarily birthed human, but the Sarlacc certainly didn't make things better. Additionally, we know that even in his prime after escaping, it was costing him a fortune, as I mentioned, to stay healthy. Here's another quote I have: "The relief that washed over Fett at the sight was the strongest emotion other than anger that he'd felt in at least a decade. He could afford to have a replacement clone for his lower right leg. He could afford the cancer treatments that had been bankrupting him. Fett barely heard himself say, 'Take him, he's yours.'" So, do I expect Boba Fett to have the exact same health issues in canon as he did in Legends? Will he have cancer sprouting up and a failing liver and all of that? No, I don't think so, but what I do think we'll see is that his health issues extend beyond the scars on his face, and that at some point he's going to need to do something. In Star Wars Legends, Boba Fett travels to Kamino to try to find some of the original Kaminoan scientists to get cloned material to fix some of his health issues. That would be a pretty interesting storyline, I think, for this show, especially with what we saw in the Season 1 finale of The Bad Batch, where Kamino was destroyed. Otherwise, though, the Sarlacc pit isn't something that Boba Fett just walked away from. It was a transformational moment in his life. People are asking, why is Boba Fett different now? Why has he abandoned the idea of being a bounty hunter and maybe even became a little bit softer? Well, I think the Sarlacc is a pretty good explanation of all of that, and is pretty in line with his character from Star Wars Legends as well. But guys, that's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed this shorter Star Wars lore video. Let me know your thoughts on my theory down below. Till next time, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.